welcoming you to this very special edition of the Keon Sports Podcast, brought to you by KeonSports.com. Today, a very special subject, one near and dear to my heart. This company was started and built upon Little League Baseball. My first book, Hero, it spurned my entire career, sparked it, we should say. The book Hero, that came out in 2012, I would advise everybody to check that out. My experiences not only playing Little League Baseball, but also coaching Little League Baseball. And when you coach Little League Baseball, it's a labor of love. You do not get paid. It's something you're doing to help kids out. You're volunteering your time. You know, to me, years later after my coaching days, I still have kids that I coached come up to me and thank me and talk about the experiences we had. It is truly one of the most special things you could do as an adult, and as a child playing in it. Those are memories you have for life. Unfortunately, right now, there's a story going around about Little League Baseball in Kentucky, an incident that happened on Monday in Stanton, Kentucky. And once again, coaches, people who work their butts off, are being dragged through the mud. Parents as well, and I simply don't think that's right. So tonight, we're going to have one of those parents on. We're going to speak to him about the incident, what took place, and what actually happened. Sit tight, put your feet up, and grab something cold to drink. Up next, we're going to speak with Shannon Rose, who was there and give us an accurate play-by-play of what went down and what comes next. All right, on the line with us now, Shannon Rose, a parent who was there on Monday night. And as fans know of Keon Sports, we are very big supporters of Little League Baseball. We sponsor many teams, and we feel it's very, very important. Shannon, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. So, there's a lot of stories floating around. People are watching videos and, forming opinions that might not be accurate. So we wanted to get you on the show and ask you a few questions. First and foremost, what ages were the kids? We've seen everything from 5 to 7 years old. What ages were the kids involved with this, and what was the level of play?
The age group, I believe, my son is 6 and was playing on the Rangers team. I think the age group was between 4 and 6 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and this is it T-ball or is it coach pitch?
It's T-ball, but it's a mixture of both. The way we play it is the coach pitches 3 pitches, and if they cannot make contact out of the 3 pitches, they will tee up the ball for two more tries. So they get a total of 5 swings. So 3 pitches, no contact, they get 2 more tries off the tee.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, until the other night, what has your child's experience been like playing Little League Baseball?
He loves it, man. He's really grown to it. He's played for a few seasons. He played fall ball last year, and me and his mother could really tell that he was starting to get more energized in the sport and focused on it. When he's here at my house, he's on YouTube, just YouTubing tutorials, watching different things and videos, and he's all into baseball, man. He loves it.
Now, and that's great to hear. To me, baseball is my favorite sport. I grew up playing baseball. I think a lot of kids now, I don't know if it's an attention span problem or what the issue is, but, baseball used to be the thing that everybody did. I'm 39 years old, and, I played baseball every single summer. It was like clockwork. I'm glad to see more kids playing it. That's what needs to happen. Now, this particular game that's getting all the attention, was this a championship game?
Yes, it was. It was a championship game.
Okay. So, in your words, what exactly happened? And then what do you feel could have been done to avoid some of this?
So, like I just stated, it was a championship game. We played this team a couple times in the regular season. And, with the Reds team and the Rangers, it was always tense, tight games. They're both good ball teams, and they all played very good. What happened was it was top of the 5th. In the championship game, we were playing 6-run limits. So if the team scores 6 runs, you swap positions. You go from batting to out there on the field on defense.
Correct.
So we played every inning, 6-run max, and we were, pretty much the whole game we were neck and neck, back and forth. We'd score 6, they'd score 6, we'd score 4, they'd score 5, whatever. And it was the top of the 5th, and we were playing 5 innings only. It was not timed. during the regular season, the games were timed. They were 1 hour games. And at the 1 hour mark, whatever inning you was in, you finished that inning, and that was the game. Unless the home team was winning, of course. It was already called. So this wasn't a timed game. We was already 2 hours into the game. Top of the fifth, we're winning. I believe, I might be wrong on this, I believe we were winning and the score was 22-19, or it might have been 21-19. It is still, like I said, a close game. Bases were loaded. There was one out. One of our kids ended up hitting the ball, and it rolled to the pitcher. Their pitcher picks it up, and our runner is running, of course, to go home. And our runner slides and the pitcher slides at the same time, and the pitcher's kind of sliding on his knees. So they make contact, and the ball rolls out of the glove. I don't know if the ball rolled out of the glove before he touched home plate or after. I can't be certain on that. But the umpire, there was one umpire at that game, and he was standing behind the pitcher's mound. So all he saw was the Reds player beat our player home. So he called him out, and me, along with everybody else in the crowd, was saying, hey, he dropped the ball, he wasn't out, he was safe. Our coach, Jimmy Smith, was contesting the call, and then the Reds coach, Steve Randall, come up. He was on third baseline, and he come up from third baseline, and I don't know what was said on the field. I don't know what Steve said other than, the crowd was chaotic at that point, and he hollered, he teed up his hands and hollered out timeout real loud. And he looked at the crowd, and he pretty much keyed up the crowd again, and he's like, you all actually expect us to take your word for it? So he lit another fire right there, and it was just mayhem after that. Them coaches got into it face to face. Steve Randall threw his hat down and kind of took a few steps back. Then he started pointing his finger. And like I said, I can't hear. I'm sitting on the fence line right beside the first base dugout. I've got my fold-out chair next to the fence, but I can't hear what's being said because it was just loud. But he throws his hat, points his finger at our coach, Jimmy Smith, and then aggressively starts walking towards him. And he actually pushed one of the Rangers' assistant coaches out of the way, trying to go to Jimmy. And then that's when the parents stormed the field, kind of blindsided Steve Randall and pushed him, and then ripped his shirt off, was trying to get after Steve. And, that's when everybody kind of got on the field and broke it all apart. There weren't any fists thrown or nothing like that. A couple of cuss words might have been said and some shoving, but, it was still chaotic, and I hated that it happened in front of them little kids.
And it's crazy, too, because you could see in one of the videos, it looks like somebody took their own shirt off. So you're saying that his jersey was actually ripped off?
No, that was the parent. One of the spectators jumped, ran onto the field and blindsided Steve Randall and kind of shoved him,
Yeah.
And that's when he took his shirt off looking for a fight, I guess you'd say,
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why someone would do that. So, here's the thing, too. Like I've said, and I said in the opener, coaching Little League is a labor of love, right? No one gets paid to do it. You do it because you love the game, and you want to teach these kids, and you want to do the things the right way. So many times people see a 6-second video like this or a 10-second video like this, and they're quick to judge. What can the Little League do, the league that you guys are involved in particularly, what can, be done from this point on to make sure things like this don't happen again? Is there any ideas you would have? Is this something that has been a pattern over the years with these two coaches, or is this an isolated incident?
No, I've never, I don't know much about Steve Randall. He's a great guy in the community. I know that, he does free baseball clinics and donates his time to kids to help them come up and teach them the ways of baseball and, basic fundamentals. And Jimmy's the same way. I've never seen them two go at it like that. As far as, what the Little League could do, I mean, obviously no one should be allowed to storm a field like that. It shouldn't have happened. And the guy apologized for doing it. Just heat of the moment, but I know that the board made a update on Facebook last night saying that there was going to be some changes made. One of the changes was starting in 2022 ball, they're not going to be keeping score for T-ball, and they're also not going to have a championship game now. So, I mean, take it how you want. I mean, they're at that age now where they need to know the difference between winning and losing. I'm highly against not keeping scores, but, you know, to me, that's just taken away from the kids. You know, personally, I think if the rec league is going to do anything, they need to maybe charge more for entry fee whenever we sign our players up to be able to afford an extra umpire instead of one man being out there trying to watch all these kids and all these balls being thrown and plays being made. You know, as far as security, I mean, obviously that's an option. I know our part where we play the baseball, they have security cameras everywhere, you know, but obviously we can't post up a security guard and make sure everything's straight. You want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and be able to act like adults, but, you know, I guarantee you it's not the first time this has happened anywhere in this country, and it won't be the last.
No.
You know, it happens. It just happened to us in this small town, and everybody's just running with it, you know?
I couldn't agree more. Let me get a little something off my chest here while we're on air right now. You know, quite frankly, a couple things here. You touched on a couple things that I agree with 100%. Number one, there should be a score at all times. The fact that we're raising a generation of kids right now where winning doesn't matter is absolutely ridiculous, because they need to learn winning from losing. They need to learn competitiveness, because that's what real life's all about. There's no participation trophies, and there's no ties in real life. That's number one. Number two, you said something towards the tail end of that, which, again, I agree with you 100%. Little League should always have two umpires at all time. You have a home plate umpire and you have a field umpire. And as you said, I don't know if the money needs to be raised for more with admissions or whatever the situation may be, but that's something that every league should provide. Everything you said just now, I agree with 100%. So we have a lot of listeners that listen into this show. Any last words you want to leave them with about your community and, you know, to really, you know, kind of put a touch on all this? As you said, this stuff happens all over America, guys. Everybody listening at home, I assure you, this is not the first Little League to have an argument. I guarantee it.
Yeah, just remember, we're just a small town here in Kentucky, and, you know, we're a pretty tight-knit group, but I will say this baseball league has come a long way from where it used to be. The city and the rec and all them, they put a lot of money onto this field. We got an extra field added a few years ago. We just updated scoreboard, new dirt. You know, we take pride in baseball here and just all sports in general, you know. But I think, like I said, you know, the entry fee to sign my kid up to play ball, I think, was $50, and that might have covered his hat and a jersey, or so be it, whatever it is. It don't matter to me. But, you know, if there's not going to be at least two umpires on that field, you know, because I think they pay the umpires. I'm pretty sure they get something per game. But if there's not at least two umpires on that field, then they need to up the registration fee. And like I said, this is a small town, Kentucky, and, you know, if people can't afford it, then, you know, maybe there's people that can help them out, or GoFundMe or something. But something needs to be done to where there's absolutely two umpires on that field. And, you know, if it comes down to parents volunteering to be umpires, then so be it. You know, I'll sign up to do it. I might not be liked. Umpires make the wrong calls all the time, but that's part of it. We can't, you know, they don't see everything, and they're not to blame for it. It's just the flow of the game. But if they don't have two umpires, they need to reconsider that, because it's just a sham.
Very well said.
As far as last comments, like I said, small town Kentucky here. I don't know what's going to happen between the coaches. I know that there needs to be consequences, and just hope that the board or the committee or whoever comes down on the decision to make the consequences or the punishments, I hope that they do it fairly and evenly, because like you said, and like I feel, you know, I'm on Jimmy's team, the Rangers team, and I'm not gunning for the Mr. Steve Randall and the Reds team. You know, I've even had my squads with Jimmy myself. And, so I'm not playing favoritism by no means, but if you're going to ban one coach possibly from coaching indefinitely, then the other needs to be suspended as well. And I don't think that's going to happen because small town politics play a big game here. And Steve Randall just so happens to be vice president of the baseball rec board. So he's vice president of this league or the board of baseball, and he's also a coach. So I have a hunch or a feeling, and it's just my opinion, that Jimmy Smith's probably going to get hung out to dry, and they're going to just smack the hand of Steve Randall and just not, turn the other cheek. And to me, that's not fair. If you're going to do one to one coach, you need to do it to the other, especially if he was the aggressor in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, very, very well said there. So, Mr. Rose, we appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. Want to wish you the best of luck, and we'll talk to you moving forward. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right, so that was Shannon Rose, a parent of the Rangers. My fault. The Rangers, managed by Jimmy Smith, and we are going to do our best to reach out to both managers at this time. At this time, too, we want to invite both coaching staffs, both managers, both Coach Randall, Coach Smith, to come on the show at any time. Email me, Vince McKee, at coachvin14@yahoo.com. You'll notice the word coach right in that email address, as that was something I did for many years. We like to tell the full story here at Keon Sports. Again, email me at coachvin14@yahoo.com. If you live down in the Cincinnati area, swing by the Lounge. It is the best bar and restaurant you are going to find, recently opened by Tom and Amy Sledge. Again, that is the Lounge. For our guest today, Shannon Rose, we want to say thank you and encourage everyone to have a nice, peaceful summer. This has been Vince McKee with Keon Sports.